Okay, kom maar gaan lê hoor, dis alles reg hoor. As hy kom maar gaan lê hoor. Okay, kom ons gaan lê. Ons moet nou soet wees, hoor. Gaan lê maar Ben, dankie. Dankie. I'm not so good with putting words together to really explain how deep and passionate I feel about something. So when I get a quote that somebody else said, it's like a little jewel for me that I put away in my heart. And I once came upon this quote that said, "In their innocence and wisdom, in the connection to the earth and its most ancient rhythms, animals bring us back to a world they have never left." That's my favorite quote because that is how I experience my life with my animal tribe. The love for them and the necessity to be with them. It's been there since actually before my time on Earth, I feel. I remember I was 5 years old and I picked up a little dove that was hurt, and I remember I didn't know what to do with the little one, and I thought, one day I want to know what to do with every little animal that has a problem. There's no more an effective healer than a wounded healer. I don't think I would have had the empathy I have if I maybe didn't go through the tough stuff in life that I did. There's an innocence when you're a child that can become so muddled. My brother was a very difficult person. He made life in our family very, very difficult. As a young girl, he hurt me very badly, and it was difficult for me growing up in a house where he was still a physical presence. It wasn't somebody outside of living somewhere else. It was a constant that I had to deal with every day. It was a sexual abuse, yeah, and it didn't last long. I remember as soon as I told my parents, it didn't happen again. But yeah, that was probably a line that was a dark line through my childhood that I had to deal with. If something like that happens to a child, there's fear that comes and settles in a way in one's heart. I had nightmares for a very, very, very long time in my childhood. My last prayer at night would actually have been, Jesus, asseblief net nie laat ek vannacht droom nie, because I didn't know good dreams. Sometimes you wonder, did this really happen? 15 years later, I was, I think, 22, and I asked him, do you remember what happened? And he said yes. And he never asked for forgiveness. But to forgive, you don't need to receive a sorry from the other side. It's only in forgiveness that one can become lighter, to release yourself from holding on to that anger. And in the letting go, there's new, beautiful things that happen. Later in my life, I got pregnant very unexpectedly. And it was me and my husband's biggest surprise of our lives. And it was, for me, that was actually probably the most difficult thing that I had to deal with. I didn't want children. Maybe the closest I would want was a baby chimpanzee. And then I was blessed with Nimya, our oldest. And it's amazing how her birth helped me to be a child again in a way that was stolen from me when I was young. To see her going through that time in her life and not being abused, not being afraid at night to sleep in her own room, that was giving me, in a way, back what I've lost. It's beautiful for me to be reminded of how free one is when one's a child. And today, my girls are, I can't imagine my life without two-legged animals. They are, yeah. One of my favorite Alice in Wonderland quotes is, "The secret, Alice, is to surround yourself with people that makes your heart smile. It's then and only then that you'll find Wonderland." There's a Wonderland everywhere. And if you find the people that understand the things that makes you happy, it's precious. It's not a given. Our two-legged animals, we need each other. There's something about a human touch, about being able to speak the same language, literally, that fills gaps that we need to have filled. So it's a very special thing if you find people that understand you, and to make effort with those people. The days that I don't feel like I'm in Wonderland, I'll remind myself that there is a Wonderland and that I need to get out of bed and look for Wonderland. It's like a mental shift to look for treasures and to look for Wonderland. And to be able to see the good that there still is and the beauty that there still is, and just sun shining through a little leaf, to notice that you must go back to innocence. unpolluted, raw innocence.
Did you make that cup?
Yes, I made this cup, and it says, "You are the poem I never knew how to write, and this life is the story I've always wanted to tell." I made it for Henk, my husband, as a gift, and it's partly also for myself, to remind myself about the wonderful life, a wonderful story I am living. Many times you have so many dreams that you work towards and that you want to someday realize, and you forget what's happening already.
How would you like people to think of you when you're old?
I'd like them to remember me as somebody that helped them to find the wonder in life, to see the beauty beyond ordinary things, to try and grow every day towards the light.
Thanks to all of you who helped make this film possible. All of our films are totally crowdfunded, so if you'd like to continue to support us on our journey, check out our Green Renaissance page on Patreon.